Hello and welcome, as it is the second part to this video. Obviously, if you haven't watched the first, that should be no-brainer that you're going to miss out on certain things. And let's get started. What I have done is I have removed all of the trades that have been completed and have placed them down below there. And these are still the open trades ready to be filled. The last trade was a sell at 8.96. So then let's uh, look for the next trade. Well, what would we be looking for in here? 688, which is where we're at. But we got a 616 already. So I'm going to go for just a little bit lower. Maybe 5. And then go for that completion of that 616. When I traded last, I could watch the last part of the video. I know there's a lot of pending ones above it, so there's no 616 completed here. 617, but so I'm going to be looking towards maybe even selling a little bit lower than that 1168, maybe 10 and a quarter. So we're going to complete this trade in here, which was 60 DGB. Let's trade 50 of them for 511 on the XBY front. All right, next move. 1022 last trade, which means we're either going to look to buy at 780 or we're selling the 738. And we'll do so at maybe under that 13 number, maybe 12 and 0.6. 15, so a whole bunch of cells can now come into play. We'll start off with this. I'm not even close yet, not too close to selling that. As I stated, close to 20, 19, 18. But I'll just do one day per day kind of. We'll see if the next day, if it doesn't go down much, I'll complete the 1071 probably. And I'm only going to be needing to unload like I mean, I almost want to sell everything that I bought, given that I own 500. This is an easy fill at 148. So I pretty much have to go full, I think, in the spots like this. So 49.49, let's just do everything it was for before. Gain none of the DGB and all of the XBY. 365 turned into 745. So that's a gain of like 280, 380. Okay, 4% down's not much, but what's the gain for 1071? I'm looking to get like 1392. So I want even better than that, I think. And therefore, let's put in here the 1507 trade. Big move. So I'm gonna go lower than the much lower than the 11.6, maybe 10 and a quarter. And then as far as where this is concerned in here, maybe go to price. So lowest price would be 11 point, oh no, 10 and a quarter. Highest price would be 17. So 1005 is what we'll get. So that's a buy for X on the put the price going lower. I'm just used to saying buy because it goes lower. I mean, I reverse the numbers. It's a sell. Everything's on every trade. It's a buy and a sell, one side to another. Alrighty. So the last trade getting nice 745 spot, and let's consider 550 here. Okay, so now we'll go to the next trade from those numbers, 7.8 and 13.2 goes to 14.8, so we'll complete it. 54 was the number. That's 10% of what we got. So let's gain a micro fraction and gain a lot more in percentage terms on the XBY here. And let's see where we move next. 18% down that day. I know that's definitely not enough. So at 1469, we're looking to complete the 1071, but not at 12. So 11.3, and we'll go like 16 and 3/4. That's a good number, even on 1071. So 589 is the trade. That's a big, big drop. 50% on that given day. That's an aggressive sell. So after gaining 735, let's go 700 of a bit more than was last time at the 550. Only profiting 34 on the last trade, but now getting 107, almost 118 of the other coins. And as far as a small, I'm looking to get like probably like 4 and change on a, since this is the pending major buy. But for the short term, and last trade is 593. We're already at 456 for it, but it's even like 3 and change actually for a long-term buy. But for short term, 456, 7.7. It goes to 435. So let's do another XBY sale. 500 and a quarter should be noticeably more than 118. No, it's not. Another one I was wrong with. I don't want to do too much more than this, only because of the fact that I know a long-term order is going to be coming in the horizon. So let's go to the price, and I'll buy long-term at say 3.6. And where am I going to sell that 438? 5.7. And it goes to 616, so we'll complete that trade. We got 125 of them. That's a decent amount now, so let's just see what 100 does. That still gains 60 on that. So this is a DGB profit take. 611 does an amazing increase of about 15% on the XBY front. When it's 41, it's now going to be at like almost 48. So we will now look at the next move. 616, I'll put in here. So 4.7 or break above 8. And does it break? And that works on the 593, yep. But it's going down anyway, so that's 550 was the last trade. I was a number lower or higher. It's about the same. So let's go 575. Practically in the area, but the same numbers. Reason why, if it was lower, I would probably consider selling a bit more depending on the price. But for what it's worth, just in this area, I mean, 590 would work, 600 would work, 550 would work. And the next trade at 443. Well, we're looking for the buy at the 3 and change mark for the long term. And then, of course, on the upside, 5.8. So we'll make this a long-term buy at 329. $4,209 is the ownership. 15? 1,500? I mean, that really draws a comparison to how well we're doing when I'm doing the exact. Normally, the next one below 14 is like 1,000 or whatever. When I'm matching that number, let's do an exact match. I mean, last time was 148. Now it's 420, 430 even. How do you do? 3.31 price. Let's just sell that over 7.5 to, well, closer, even closer to 8. 8 3/4 ish is what I'm thinking right now. And for 297, I'll throw a short-term one order in right now. We had 575 here, so let's 375. Is that more than 128? No. So 400. It's really hard. It's kind. I mean, it's not quite 20%, which is still fine, but it makes it harder just to try to sell 5 600. But it becomes a little more aggressive, especially when we're looking to put these aggressive moves in. When would I do this next? Well, half is a buck 65. So low ones, 120, 115 is the area that I'd be looking at. So last trade was 299 or 297 on. Yeah, we'll do 299. Lowest price 2 point. We're going to go 2.2 and break above 4. So 407 to complete the last trade. We have 133 DGBs that was in trade last time. We pretty much can afford to do a lot. And 484 really helps the XBY front. But at the same point, we also got that big order too. And it's just the first move from these low prices. So I want to do less than that. So let's do 110. And then I'd still be gaining 10% more on the XBY front. Okay, last trade at 4, but we're completing 456 though. So that's worth noting. So on the buy end, we'll go 3. And then I'm just going to rewrite in the 446, which is like 5.8. So it goes down to 281, which means another buy. And we had 400 last time, getting back a 444. So let's just do 430. So 2.1 will go on the low end. And maybe 3.8. Just do a little more than what the numbers state. 202 is what it goes to. Okay, so let's do like 350. That's still good to be high, I think. Yeah. Okay, so then next one we have is, well, let's put it 204 in here. So 150. And up to, say, 2.75. It goes to 2.83, which is the matching of this number here, making things relatively easy. And with the 172, what would 145 bring back? That's a decent enough score. And the order is in. So last trade in at that 281, 283 number, whichever. And I'm going to have to remove some of these empty spaces. It's almost time to consider these as dead orders in here, I think. Dead orders are when they're so long going, you made so many trades, the value of them are so tiny that they're not even worth doing. But for now, I'm not going to do that. So lowest price is 2.1. Highest price is 3.7. And really but we'll go 3.8 because we're looking to complete the 283, which is now completed on day 203. 151 of them, which is pretty much near that percentage. And even handling the 429 order isn't too difficult. And 130 still brings a good profitable number in place. So buying at 283, selling at 399. And just because it's easy, I'm just going to copy this and just place these in the completed order section. And then I can just remove this and remove that. Because there's a bit more space. Okay, so 40, well, no, that's 402 I'm going to have to put in here. So below 3. And we'd be selling the 446, which is not appropriate at 522. So you'd want to sell it like 5.8. And 735 will work. So how many are we selling here? Well, we had 128. We own 126. We're going to have to come up with another 300 there, but that's going to be dead easy. So if we go for a gain of almost a 9 spot, we're getting a gain of a 300 spot in the other direction. And there we have it, 735 last trade. Now we're getting decent amounts in a row. As far as selling this, I said 8 and change is where I want to go for that. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I put in the 729 here, which says 947. And I'm going to go like lower than that for the long-term order. But for the short-term order, I'll put the 5.6 in, or even 5.5. And do like 8 2/3. And look at that, I even get 9.5. So I'm going to complete this big one. So in a spot here, you have 429. That would be about 40%. That's quite high. So I don't want to do that. But I don't have to. 300 is like not even 30%. That's the more aptitude number that I'd want to do. So what would 300 do? 2,840, that's a 2x. Almost 2x. Practically that, though. And completing the 593, as long as it doesn't go down a lot, is going to be the next play. And it didn't, so 9. We'll do this one. And selling 118. Well, that's pretty close to over 10% still. And it's a pretty decent gain. What would 90 do? I think I'm more comfortable doing that. That's about 10%. 840, that still breaks the XBY over 10. So really, it does all work out to the minute. I mean, it works out that this tells me my ownership of both coins are pretty good. They're pretty stable, I guess you could say, because what's going to happen, they're going to have big ownerships in one side to the other, which I want, because that gives you the alternative. I mean, that's what is kind of needed for it to have extreme gains. Okay, so let's just copy and paste all of this down in here. Remove the bold because that trade is done, and remove all those sections. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. And we're getting close to that day. We are getting close to that day. This rally is almost over. It's going to revert. But you might not know that at the time. But it's going to revert. All right then. Last trade is in at 941. So we'll buy at 7.2. I don't even think it goes to the 12.2. I think that's pretty. I think that was the high. When I look, just my early look at the data. No, no, no. Was I wrong? Okay. 18. Wow. Mammoth move. Well, let's complete this trade. And it was a mammoth move of NXT. This was a huge. It's having a huge rally at this point. Bitcoin prices are phenomenal. Your portfolio is as well. So let's sell some DGB in here. Do I want to complete this order? I think you have to. And 148 of 758 for a big order is like nothing. So I think that's an order you'd have to complete. And then in here, we might as well complete this one. And you can see how 46 is less than 10% of what you got. I can even sell more than what it is and actually pay like just like three more. I can even do higher than that just for that purpose, and I will definitely do it on the next one, if as long as it's high enough. If that is. Okay, so let's go to the next price, and you're getting this thing is just skyrocketed so high. So you know you got. I mean, you don't really want to buy too much when it's like 10 and 8 and 7 because it's went up so much, so high, so fast. Okay, well, just play the game, let the market do what it does and adjust to it. So how are we going to adjust here for it? Well, we got our last trade in at 18.8. I mean, this isn't really going to help us much at all. We have to go way significantly lower than 14.47. 11? Really, it's that sick of a game. And even that, I would normally be like, that's still kind of high. And even 24 is still too low, given I'm trying to buy back the 14. 10.6. So we'll be looking to make an extreme buyback with the sale at 18, probably closer to 6 to 7. Just a regular one right now, which is, we own 11,000 of these things now. Wow. I guess it's time to up the ante. And upping the ante means like on a small trade going like 14, 1600. So I'm going to go 750 and just short sell. Meaning I should be doing like 12, 13, or around 10%, 1,000. Okay, well I'm going to do less. And I'm not saying because I know it, but it's because of even not even just because of the mathematics of it. When you're up like 25 times, 40, whatever in a row, you get these moves that it had on the opposite direction and just sell order over again. I only shown three last trades, but if I shown like 10, it'd probably still say all sell. So you know it's got to come back down hard when it's ready to do it. 69.83, and that's a short-term trade. Just to let you know, what day number are we looking at? 260. We're 33 days away from that point that I'm talking about. I mean, you don't. It's going to fall over 14 times in the next 3 days. I mean, I'm so tempted to want to take. Let's just do day by day until then. Now, is 37% a good enough trade? Did that qualify? It did. So let's do a sell of the. I guess my number lock's not on. Now it is. It's pushed it like 6 times. It's like. Alright, so sell DGB. 69, we own 600. Definitely don't want to do that. 50. Do I get more than 750? No. Okay, well let's just do buy XBY. And I know I should be buying more, but it's. In fact, I should be. I'm going to do the exact opposite type of order I should do. I should be selling 69 based on what I know, but whatever. So 14.52 we'll put in here. I bought 10.74, so I want to make that at least barely a lower low if I'm going to buy. And for the sell, I'm looking to complete the 14.41, which aligns with the 14.52. So we'll put it 18.9, and it goes to 8.45. And by the way, again, how many days are we at? We're 30 days away. I guess I could still do the intervals because I know what's going to happen or what day we're at. I'm just so used to doing the entering the low and high and letting it automatically go to that date for or price point for me. Okay, we own 11,000. We did 750 last time in an area that was quite high. Definitely doing more than that now. Maybe 950. Okay, so 851, we'll be looking at a long-term order soon. And at 655, I think that's what we would be doing. Both short-term and a long-term order. And definitely now 491, so we'll make this one bold. So we're going to sell XBY. We own 10,000. A decent amount would be like 2,400. And we'll get 485 on the other side. Is that too many? Considering I got 2667 last time for 148, I think it is. Because I'm just looking at this number here. And I'm still getting 400. I mean, I could even be overselling it too, but I mean, that's 20%. So, I mean, that really almost could be a minimum number as well too. I would be looking to sell that at about 12 or buy at around 2. 2 and a 10, a little higher above 2, low 2s. But we're looking at short-term orders, and 442 is going to be one. And the last short-term order was 950. What would 900 do? Well, let's put 900 here because that's probably going to be it. It's barely over 10%. It's going to be much higher than 111. Yeah, 200. It's much, much higher. And there we have it. So last trade 445. So let's go to price of 3.4. And the wild swings are going to be coming here. 637. Good buyback to have. So we're going to sell. We had 200 that we bought, owing 129. Let's do 160 and gain like 1,000 or 100 on the other side. Okay, 632 last trade. Okay, 632 is the lowest. No, it's not. Now I'm going to screw this up, so let's just go 7.1. 888. Well, what we're looking to do is even sell this 851. That's an awkward situation as it is there anyway. So let's just go to each day because we're at that point anyway. 611. Okay, next day is 472. Well, that's below the 480. But we want to play the lower low game, so like maybe wait a day. And 662. Wait a day. 725. Wait a day. 698. So not buying there, missed out on that sale. 550. 328. So there's your lower low. So let's sell some XBY. Last time it was 900, getting back 1,000. So 925. And then I get a nice 280 score almost. Okay, so next trade, let's put the 328 here. So 252, that's not quite the long-term number, but a little lower than that. We're still going to put that for a short-term trade. Okay, wait a second here. Okay, well, price is 139. I must have screwed. So whatever. Let's just assume we're in this buy here. It's 139 the next day because the markets do move wild. We'll start off with a long-term trade. You own 7,000. You did 2,000 before. I almost think you would even match that number, just because it's just an amazing move on the opposite direction. Obviously, if you knew it was going to go high, it's going to go lower, but you can't know that, and you just want to ensure that you get your good gain. So 176, you could even be like, oh, if it was lower, I'd do a short-term order because you still want to get one lower in the 330, 171. So there you go. Now you can make another order, but it's starting to get really interesting here. So let's do another sell. And short term, you almost do the 925 again. You could just unload big and all this type of stuff because it just keeps going in this direction. In the like, you were at 18, now you're at like one. It's went 18 times lower. This is like a sick fast move. So for now, we'll just make this regular order. 933 for 925. And then it goes to 0.78, but not quite a long-term order, but still, are we at the day 258 here? This is still 6 days to go. So we'll puff to sell 925 again. I mean, that's a quarter of what you own. It's so easy to do. Just keep on until it becomes a problem, then you have to lower it. Then it goes to 84, 75, 77, 83, 82, 69. So is it worth making a trade? This is that day. This is the time. This is the top. And you got 60. So no. Well, let's see how we stand. Don't know where the 5 is here. So we would own, let me just get a trusty little calculator ready. Actually, I got a calculator on my spreadsheet at all times. So what do we own here? And I'm just going to write in some of the ownerships here. The NXT, although it says DGB, is 49.54 and 35.26. So this number, what's the NXT price? 40.48. Let's multiply that by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that to me looks like really, that's not zero point 0.2 Bitcoin, is it? For 4,000 Satoshi? I guess. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 405. Yep. So this is 58.42. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're looking, oh my goodness, good job getting it at the same number. I mean, I guess that's luck, and some days it works that way, some days it doesn't. Okay, so zero point 0.4, barely over zero point 0.4 Bitcoin. Well, I don't need a calculator for that. That's $6,000 at that time. 6,000. Starting the venture off at 2.75. That's a pretty remarkable return, I would have to think, when you're talking about doing better than 2000x against the dollar in 264 days. It's just a phenomenal outcome to be able to have that happen. Let's finish off this game. It won't take us much time now, given the fact that the markets are going to lose a lot of its volatility, but we're going to have to give back. This price is going to go back way higher. But you're still waiting at this time for it to go to 0.6. Just doesn't do it. Enter lowest price, 0.6. It doesn't do it. And look, and again in here, when it goes straight down, you want much better than 1. So let's go 133. So we'll finish this one off. You had 1,000. You own 4,000. Oh, that's expensive. That's expensive. Let's do 800 should be fine. Yep. Okay, so next up we have the 99 to take care about, or it's going to go lower. And I don't think there's going to be any buys until it's probably like 2 or 3, but we'll see. 1.05, and we're selling on the 99, so I'm comfortable selling the 99 at 178. Okay, I guess there is a buy here. I guess that makes sense. So we're going to go on here. We got 1,000 last time, 900 here. So I would think in the middle, like 975. And then you pick up a nice 955 spot here. Okay, so I know it's not going to happen, but 0.78. And then selling the 102 at even higher than the 130, 144. Okay, I'll take 169. All right, so here we have the 975 XBY, 955 here. We own 5,100, so you could easily go which any direction you kind of want, but what would 835 do? It's not as good if I could sell less. Okay, so we're looking to complete the 99 deal, which I kind of wouldn't mind getting closer to 2 now that I think about it. If not even higher, do better than a 2x move on it. So we'll look at first the last 169 play, which would be 130. You can go 1.25, and then maybe 2 and a dime. So we'll get 223 for this trade. Okay, it's one of those 900 deals. So let's think of what would 700 do? That might be even too much again. 15. So there's a good balance gain here for both your XBY and your DGB. So now it's completing the 140, then the 330, and so on and so forth. So I'm not even going to use a calculator from this point on. I'm just going to do it in my head. So at 223, let's buy at like 145. And let's sell that 140 at like 310. So we'll complete this order here. It was 1428 for that of 2000. I would think 1,000 would come into play. That might be a little too much. And it technically does look like a little too much because it looks like I'm getting a bit better of a gain on DGB. So let's do 960 instead. And complete that order. So now it's about making a new one. On the buy side, we're completing the 330. So let's buy at, say, 2 and sell that 330 knowing that 495 extreme is next. Let's trade that at like 6. like around that number. So 198, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate these. Get rid of this bold. And we'll use this for the buy spot. Owning 9,470 XBY. So playing in it again around that. With these gains, I can easily do 1,000 and pick off 501 here. And get it at 2-to-1 ratio. And I'm not going to use that anymore. So as far as this next price, after I buy at 2, let's go 1.26. And I want to sell it higher than that 330 number. So let's go 365. And it's done. It's done. Let's take a look at what the January 14th prices were. So I'm just going to write in here and see how we were doing it on, and this is on January the 14th. So therefore XBY, and of course if you had your XBY in your hardware wallet, this whole Cryptopia mess you were dealing with, you didn't have to go through maybe one sell order at most, and then you could have moved your coins to Coin Exchange and continue playing any type of games from that point on. The price of XBY on that point, I mean, it was based on where the bids were at the end of that point, it was like 275. So let me just go check to see what the NXT price was on January 14th. And to say there's been big volatility would be an understatement in here, because January 14th prices, yeah, we're looking at about 726 Satoshi. But big volatile moves still continuing. So therefore, in calculation, this number multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 275. Impressively, is still hanging in there. Did I do the right amount of zeros again? Because that doesn't make any sense. It's got to be significantly lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 7, 5. Yes, yes, yes. Look at how much lower your bankroll has moved down to. Wild games? Yeah, I'd say so. And let's take a look at this one here. Multiply 7. This will be a bit. No, it won't be a bit better. It'll be about close to the same again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So you would have been worth about 4.7 Bitcoin percentage almost, and back then Bitcoin prices were $3,600. That would have been 169. So that's the type of volatility your portfolio can go through. To go from $2.75 up to $6,000, down to 169. Reality. So did the system lose during this bear market? Well, within this you had 3,526 XBY when the markets were at the high. And now you would have had 8,470, so you've managed to do better than double them. You had 4,954 XBY, or the NXT, and you got a lot less. But for what you got rid of, for what you made, you're overall doing better in the trade. And from the start of the game, 8,400 of XBY and 3,200 in here meant a 32 times gain on NXT and about a 75% gain on XBY. overall as far as your net coins are concerned. But let's get real for what you're supposed to do as a trader. When you're back at those points, when you're seeing Bitcoin prices go from 4,000 to 6 to 8 to 10 to 20 and holding in at 15, and you're seeing your altcoins go up like you were seeing at the point when your value of your portfolio would say 0.40, close to 0.41. And of course, as mentioned, about a value of 4,000 and just the X amount of extreme gains. That's really what the whole point of this showing is. So it's all about protecting your profits, because if you fail to do so here, near as one of those game show things would be. 45-minute video is long. Thank you for tuning in and hope this helps. Bye bye.